What's up guys, it's Gaz, welcome to the Warframe video. So today we're going over the final of the 4 primary kit guns recently introduced in the Deadlock protocol on PC, and that is going to be the Catchmoon primary kit gun. And we're actually not going to be going full crit on this one because we'll go into it in a second. But if you have not checked out the Twitch channel already, make sure you do. I'm also going to do a brief overview of the primary kit guns in general and what I think of them, and if I think they're worth your time, at least at this current moment, because they do have very, very low ribbon disposition, and some of them are not exactly the best things in the game, so I could expect those ribbons to get buffed in the future, possibly, but it remains to be seen. I can't really predict the future, although I can make predictions on ribbon balances in the future, of course. Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to show you my thought process going into this. We'll test on some level 50 enemies, level 100 enemies, level 175 enemies. I'm going to show 3 different builds, and I will have a pretty much godly ribbon that I've had for a long time, so I'll show that as well. Spoiler alert, this thing is not really phenomenal. There's a couple reasons for that. Basically, it uses shotgun mods, and shotgun mods for crit are not as strong as the rifle versions of crit mods. So let's go over what changes between this, the Catchmoon, and the Catchmoon secondary and the Catchmoon primary. So first off, the primary Catchmoon is actually going to be fully automatic, and there's a couple differences with the projectile. So for one, the projectile is actually tinier. Also, we're using the parts Tremor, Catchmoon, and Stitch. The maximum crit version is called Splat, but like I said, I didn't really feel like going full crit on this thing. We're actually going to go with a little bit more status, but this is the max damage per shot version. And unlike the other the other kit guns like the Tombfinger, the Rattle Guts, and the Gaze, this is innate heat and impact damage. Unlike the Tombfinger, which I believe is radiation and impact. Yeah, radiation and impact, and the Gaze is also innately radiation. So this one has built-in heat. Pretty nice for a viral and heat build. So this is the one I was using right here. Notice how we have Prime Ravage, but no crit chance mod. Blunderbuss is awful. That is the crit chance mod for shotguns primaries, and it gets us to 53%. I feel like we've been critting enough that I'm willing to roll the dice with not having a crit chance mod and having Blaze on here instead to give us additional damage and heat damage. So for proccing, our viral and heat are much higher than the impact, but this thing actually has guaranteed impact procs. We can hit an enemy within, I believe, 10 meters with the shot. So mega damage drop off on this thing as well. So here's how it performs. So this is me holding down the trigger. As you see, the projectiles are smaller than the one you're used to on the secondary Catchmoon. That is one shot from the Catchmoon primary secondary. It's gigantic. And then you look at this, and they're like little swirlies. And as I said, pretty aggressive damage fall off here. She is 28 meters away. I believe it goes to 24 meters. And we're hitting her for 23 from all the way over here. So, not exactly top tier damage. You get closer, you're going to be doing a little bit more, getting some status procs. As you see, look at all those impact procs innately. So, hold down this trigger, you can mow through stuff. We're also using Pax Charge for infinite ammo. Another problem with this thing, just like the Archiplasmor and the secondary version of the Catchmoon, they have no headshot multiplier. The headshots and the body shots do the same amount of damage. And that is also going to be influenced with your Hunter Munitions procs. So, you will not get headshot slash procs with the Catchmoon. Although getting headshots is not a bad thing if you're using something like Laser Sight for additional crit chance. But I did not opt to use Laser Sight on this build because I just find that mostly for simulacrum flexing, and I'm trying to make a practical build that works in missions. So, like I said, we're doing viral and heat. It will scale relatively well. We also have a corrosive build right here with Charged Shell. You could definitely, if you wanted to form this a bit more, put a dash polarity in here, you could use Prime Charged Shell. But just for flexibility and for other builds, I didn't want to put a dash polarity in here just to keep my options open. We're also running Vigilante Supplies as our Exilus mod. If you want to put more forma on here, there's also Fatal Acceleration, going to extend your damage drop off it's going to start at 16.8 meters and then end at 33.6 meters. You're going to be hitting for those 40s. So you could put Fatal Acceleration on there. I'm just going to keep this because, to be honest, I'm probably not going to use this thing ever again after this video. There's better AoE weapons, in my opinion, in the primary slot. And when I was looking at this thing, so let me go over this. The Archiplasmor, this is pretty much like a side grade to the Archiplasmor, or a variant of the Archiplasmor. If you look at the Archiplasmor, here's the website, the wiki that shows all the different shotguns. The Archiplasmor has triple the amount of damage this thing has on the highest damage variant, but this thing has triple the fire rate. So you get a third of the damage, but 3 times the fire rate. And instead of being purely radiation, it's going to be impact and heat. So a couple other little differences. I'll compare them on the screen for you just so you can see it. So there's also a couple other versions you could build. Like I said, I went with the hybrid version here because the crit mods for shotguns are pretty bad. And this thing has really low disposition, so you're not going to be really getting, like, here's an example. The Catchmoon secondary with just Prime Pistol Gambit hits 100% crit chance and has double the damage of the primary version. So even though they nerfed the secondary version of the Catchmoon a bunch with the damage fall off, and the Rivens, it's still like much better than this thing. This weapon will not one-shot level 50s unless you're using like a Riven and stuff. The Catchmoon, like the hardest hitting Catchmoon, will one-shot level 50s easily. So you could either use Catchmoon, Tremor, Splat, or you could use the thing I'm using right now, which is what are the parts I'm using? I always forget what these names are. Tremor, Catchmoon, and Stitch. Stitch is basically it's almost full crit, but it's a little bit into status. So here's the comparisons between the Archiplasmor and the little stinker, as we called it. So we've got higher crit chance on the little stinker, a much better crit multiplier. If you have Splat, that'll become a 2.3 multiplier, and we've got a little bit better damage fall off, not by much, and as I said, triple the fire rate basically. And we actually have higher status chance on the Archiplasmor. But with this thing, you do want to get a little bit of crits out of it, just because it's up to you, of course. If you want to go full crit, you have, I think it's 35% crit chance. If you want to go full stash, you're going to lose a bunch of that crit chance. It'll be really pretty much the same thing as the Archiplasmor, but with a third of the damage. So that was the viral heat build. Let's show that on some high-level dudes. Now that I've told you why it's not very good, let's unpause them just so they can walk around and do as they please. We have no arcanes equipped in our Protea that will make us do more damage. Alright, so as you see, now you definitely will want a corrosive build against enemies like this. Another problem this thing has is with Pax Seeker, or rather, with Pax Charge, the reload speed just feels slow. It is the same fire rate as, it is the same reload rate as the secondary version, but it feels like, when you compare it to like the Rattle Guts and to the Gaze, and even the Tomb Finger for that matter, it just feels really slow recharge rate wise. So I'm not going to switch to my secondary version of the Catchmoon because that currently has a Riven, but I'll fire it off once just so you can see the difference. That's with the Riven and stuff. I'll show the Riven build a little bit here, but pretty much like the no headshot multiplier really hurts this a lot. And I mean, it's fine. I'll show a full mission gameplay. It's fine at like normal levels to like middle levels, but I'm not even going to bother killing those guys because it took so long. So yeah, since you saw that, I'm sure you can only imagine how bad the 175 test is going to be. We'll definitely switch to Hunter Munitions so you can take a look at how that one works. Keep in mind those will be no headshot Hunter Munitions procs, as I mentioned earlier. That's viral and heat for you. Now that was an entire magazine, and that heavy gunner is almost half health. It'll be better against these bombards, of course. But I mean, bombards are relatively easy to kill. Also, of course, I would be completely dead right now if I did not have the invincibility turned on. But that's why we're in the Simulacrum, to show the potential of it. Not to just play the game normally. There's, like I said, that would be a full mission gameplay. Quickly going to show the corrosive build. It's corrosive heat, of course, because this thing has innate heat. So we're actually running Vigilante Armaments for some more multi-shot in here. And no fire rate mods, because this thing has 3 fire rate. Feels fine. And like you blow through your magazine so quickly that like more fire rate's just going to make you waiting around for Pax Charge for even longer. So they did change how corrosive damage works in the Warframe Revised update. Corrosive procs are no longer permanent duration, and armor can no longer be fully removed. It stacks up to 10. So that's how it is. So they're 175. This build will be fine, of course, against like level 50s, just like pretty much everything's fine against level 50s. Then let's do the viral Hunter Munitions Riven build. So we'll go into like some options I'd say are better than this during the gameplay. But here is the viral Hunter Munitions, and I leveled up Prime Cleanse Corrupted for this video. I didn't actually have any of the cleanse mods fully leveled up, but here we go. That will make our Hunter Munitions procs much stronger, as will the damage over time. We have a Riven multi-shot, critical chance minus puncture. This weapon has no puncture innately, so that's a completely free negative. And of course, I could level up my Prime Ravage like 2 more points and level up my Prime Point Blank 1 more point, but that's not going to really make a big difference in the grand scheme of things, and it's also going to require more form on the build. Alright, so pretty good Riven, not like complete god roll. It could be a tri-stat with a negative, but this is what we got. And let's see those bleed procs. Now, as you see right there, relatively okay. Almost an entire magazine on that level 175 gunner. And she does melt to the slash procs eventually. With a primed Bane mod maxed out. So, if you want to just use Hunter Munitions on everything, there you go. But this is, let me just say, the Tomb Finger would definitely one-shot them. The Tomb Finger Kitgun, that is, the primary version. And I really don't feel like this is a Hunter Munitions weapon at all, so I wouldn't... I'm forcing it to be a Hunter Munitions weapon right now, would not highly recommend. Also, look at all these impact procs on him. He's completely stacked up with impact. Okay. See, now I'm waiting around for the gun to reload. And she should be dead. There we go. Very, very suboptimal, I'd say. If you want to watch the Tomb Finger video from the other day, the Hunter Munitions build with a Riven in that video one-shot those guys. So, let's get into the mission gameplay here, and I'll go over some options for something else. So we're running the Viral Heat, and no Riven setup here. It's going to be a survival against the Corpus, and it's also going to have some Grineer in there. Also, here's a brief look at my some of my Protea builds I've been working on. I've actually got 3 builds, and the tank one is definitely not finished yet, but I was just messing around on stream. I'm like, I need to find like a lazy build for Protea. So that was what it was. Not really the focus of this video. Just going to quickly flash down screen. And then we are going to be fighting some Grineer and a Kuva Flood. So these guys are like level like 70 to 80, I think it is. So yeah, something about primaries in general is that the mods for primaries, like, just, they're not really as crazy as some of the other ones that we have options. Like, so for example, the multi-shot mod for primaries, like split chamber, that's, you could use Hell's Chamber on this one because it's a shotgun, but for primaries, I think it's 90% multi-shot, and for secondaries, you have 2 multi-shot mods, actually. You have Lethal Torrent, which gives you fire rate and multi-shot, 60%. You also got Barrel Diffusion, giving you 120% multi-shot. So, you technically could use Vigilante Armaments, but that is going to be a slot you have to decide on yourself. Additionally, Hornet Strike is slightly more damage than Serration, and I guess technically Prime Point Blank has more damage than Prime Point Blank as well, and that's not even a Prime mod. So yeah, and then I'm not even mentioning the fact that the primary or the secondary Catchmoon has double the damage of the highest version primary Catchmoon. So there's lots of things stacked up against this thing not being phenomenal. I'm not saying it's not usable. It's definitely usable, and it can be fun to like because it still has the functionality of the normal Catchmoon secondary, where it like cleaves through enemies, as you see right there. We're getting red crits because I think I had the cat buff active, and I got a Vigilante proc there, so that will make your orange crits into red crits. And I might end up trying, like, if they end up buffing the Riven disposition on this thing, I might end up trying the full crit splat version in the future. But I definitely do feel like having additional status chance here has been helping, because I'm definitely going to be using some dual stat mods in this thing, because the base damage is low, and I want to get those viral procs, those heat procs, to help me kill these enemies, maybe stun them with the heat proc, etc., etc. So yeah, I'd say, honestly, like, in my personal opinion, I would say don't bother with this. Don't bother with the primary version of the Catchmoon until maybe some buffs come through. It can use the Nyx Deluxe shotgun skin, which is always nice, because that skin looks awesome. And the Tomb Finger and the Railguts and the Gaze actually cannot use any of the deluxe skins, because there's not a deluxe rifle skin yet. There's a deluxe sniper skin. I really hope someday we do get a universal rifle skin, so I can make the Kuva Hind look less ugly, make these primary kit guns look a little bit less ugly as well. Of course, that's subjective. What you think looks good. But if you want to not build this, I'd say build a Tomb Finger. Definitely, like 10 times over, I'd say build a Tomb Finger over this. And maybe even like the Ignis Wraith, the Amprex, the Shedu. There's a lot, like pretty much, I'm not gonna say they're all better than this, because like they all have similar kill times, to be honest. But I'd say like those have headshot multipliers. The Archiplasmor, like Archiplasmor is going to be up to personal preference. Like I said, it's a third of the damage. Rather, the Archiplasmor has triple the damage, but a third of the fire rate of this thing. But the Archiplasmor's projectile is much wider as well, so keep that in mind. You know, I'd say you really want to capitalize on this thing having innate heat built into it, which is why I went a little bit more stats heavy. Viral heat, relatively good scaling, but as you saw there, if it had headshot multiplier, it would be helping out a lot. So that's basically my my consensus on this weapon. I would definitely advise you not to build it. Maybe try a full crit version just to get like a high crit shotgun with no headshot multiplier. But yeah, even the Corinth Prime technically is an AoE weapon with the air burst. As is the Phage. The Phage is, I guess you could call the Phage a crit weapon. I don't really usually build it for crit, because the crit mods for shotguns are bad, as I mentioned like 3 times over. But you know, it's up to you. If you like I said, don't let me saying I don't like it drive you away from it. I would just personally not advise anyone that is looking to like not build every random weapon in the game and just have like one good, like this is my AoE, my go-to AoE gun. I'd say the Ignis Wraith definitely going to be better than this for most situations, even without a Riven. The Ignis Wraith has relatively weak Rivens as well, but this thing has literally the weakest Rivens possible. So that might change things in the future. Like if it gets buffed up, you'll be able to get like 100% plus crit chance with the Splat Loader, if they buff them up, which I'm hoping they do. We're actually due for a Riven disposition pass. Should be like mid-July is my guess. So if I'm still like able to be making content around then, I'll definitely. I did a mini Riven disposition prediction mini Riven disposition prediction discussion on stream today, but these will definitely get buffed in the future, especially the ones that aren't getting used. Like, I don't know if the Tomb Finger will really get buffed, but it's at 0.5. That's very, very low. I could definitely see them bumping it up to like maybe 0.7, maybe even a 1. And yeah, so you're seeing some stuff in this video that's going to be in future videos. Just spoilers, I guess. Protea build coming this next week. Honestly hoping for some Protea buffs, maybe some minor bug fixes before I make a full guide on her. But she looks really cool. I like how she looks like an actual engineer. I bought the helmet where she's like wearing like a baseball cap and it's like a ponytail sticking out the back. I like that a lot. If you use the wrench skin for the heavy hammers. Or not heavy hammers, just hammers in general. It's like you have a wrench and you're an engineer just working on cars. I find that funny. That's what I like about Protea the most. Her abilities, like shield gating grenade, has some problems I don't like about it. We'll get into it in the video. Like I said, I hope she gets some buffs this week. Expect that video halfway through the week, roughly. I'm expecting maybe some patches to her on like Monday or Tuesday, and then Telos Boltes, definitely going to take a while on that one, but that will be in the future as well, as will the new weapons, the Velox, I think it's called, which is the signature weapon of Protea, the Stalta, and the Starpa. Dude, what are these names? Like, honestly, just call it Corpus Gunblade. I might as well rename it to Corpus Gunblade. But the new weapons, expect videos on those. The Stalta, the rifle that comes from the Jackal, is actually pretty fun. It does have a couple annoyances with it, but I'd say overall worth having. And here is the Catchmoon Kitgun with the deluxe skin. So looks pretty nice. And you know, it's up to you. Like I said, it looks like a nice space gun. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully this video is helpful. Do remember that there is videos for all 4 of the primary kit guns on the channel. And if anything gets buffed in the future, I'll probably make an update video. And man, like, these are a lot of forma. Like, just a quick recap. This one is probably the lowest forma build I've done so far. And that is a 4 forma build with no Exilus mod on the Riven build. The Rattleguts one, I think it's a 5 forma build. Much of the Tomb Finger had. The Tomb Finger was 5. And then the Gaze was 5 as well. So it's a lot of stuff to fit these builds on here. And that's why I'm feeling like I really need to let you guys know what's great and what's not great. The Rivens do hold these back quite a bit, as do the for the Catchmoon specifically, the no headshot multiplier and the pretty bad crit mods, like as in blunderbuss. So you technically, like I said, you technically could use laser sight, but like I said, I pretty much just use those for simulacrum flexing, and that's not really what I'm normally doing. So there you go, guys. I'll talk to you guys next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Expect more videos this week, and take it easy. Peace.